Our solidarity with a black man who is willing to stand up. We want anybody who's listening to understand that we recognize that this is our brother. This is our brother. This is our brother. If you harm this brother,
to the black scholars and to the black educators, stop being afraid to stand up on the side of truth and justice. Don't continue to sell our people, our black women, and our children into slavery. If Delilah has blinded you, pray for strength so that he may lead you to the pillars of America's temples and institutions of Baal and hypocrisy and false religious practices, and help to bring her to her well-deserved end. For all the blood that has been shed of our innocent black people in America, it is a shame that we would here have to defy and to be told that we are an enemy to God when they have practiced white supremacy for 430 years, butchering our people. So I close by saying, woe to America, shadowed with wings. Your end has come. Do not lift your hand against our precious brother, Minister Farrakhan. Do not lift your hand and your voice any longer, because Allah will certainly bring retribution and destruction upon this land. Thank you. As-Salaam Alaikum.
Sister Tanetta Muhammad. This building, Madison Square Garden, is already etched on the pages of history. But never has it been so deeply engraved as it is about to be in a few minutes. There was a time when you said Madison Square Garden to a black person in America, the image of one man stood out. It wasn't the image of hockey players, of basketball players, of track stars, but there was one man whose name and face stood out to black America, because he was not only the heavyweight champion in boxing, he was our champion. When Joe Louis won a fight, every black person shared in the victory. And the most articulate sound that black people could hear had nothing to do with Shakespeare. It had nothing to do with Emerson. It didn't even have anything to do with Langston Hughes, but it was when a black man stood in Madison Square Garden and said, just another lucky night, I'm glad I win. The school teachers may have thought that he was talking wrong, but to all of us, he was talking right. And we grew up in a day when nothing else seemed good to us. When the depression was on, unemployment was high, we were just desolate, and the one bright spark was our champion, Joe Louis. Tonight, we have a greater champion coming before us right here. And it's nothing more than fitting that he should come to us in Madison Square Garden. This man, Minister Louis Farrakhan, is not known for his physical prowess, although he's not too light at that either. Minister Farrakhan is known for his combating something greater than mere flesh. He combats that which controls the flesh. Minister Farrakhan has not played the bum of the month thing that Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali finally had to do. You see, they ran out of great competitors and they started having to deal with lesser and lesser fighters. It's been the opposite with Minister Farrakhan. The longer he toils, the greater enemy he comes up against. And the greater enemy he comes up against, the harder he fights and the better the knockout. Today, he faces the greatest challenger that has ever come up against our champion. This is a challenger who knocked Henry Ford out of the ring. I know all of you are familiar with that. I know all of you know that this man, Henry Ford, who was a giant in industry, had the nerve to write a series of columns that was turned into volumes of books called The International Jew, and that he was forced to apologize and pay them for even saying so. So this is a challenger that has knocked this great man out of the ring. But here comes a black man. A black man who stands up today and challenges. Here's our champion. Here's our champion, Farrakhan, the world champion, the heavyweight champion.